About to commence. 1 minute. Okay, it has started.
Yes, it's that.
Ah, good day all. So today it has been an honor for all of us and on our show, Captain Puneet Malhotra'S show, that is Rendezvous with Maritime Woman Power, Nari Shakti, Captain Radhika Menon. I welcome her with a big applause and kind of standing ovation. The kind of achievement she has, you know, got, or the feathers in her cap, or the things what she's got under her belt. It is really commendable. I will first talk about a little bit about Captain Radhika. Of course, there's a long list, which of course is inexhaustive. Which, if I start going, we will not be able to talk about Captain Radhika. Captain Radhika Menon is an first Indian woman merchant naval officer sailing and empowering the woman power, leading by examples. The first woman master mariner to be felicitated by the President of India and IMO. This is a very, very great achievement. She ventured into the sea career as a radio officer way back in 1991. And that's where because she had a zeal, zest, and quest to, come into a commanding situation. And that's where she started, coming onto the deck side and graduated through the ranks. And finally, she got a command that is the highest designation as a master mariner or the captain of the ship way back in year 2012. So that means she's been already 12, 13 years in command, which speaks so gracious about her. She has always persevered with her accolades and demonstration of her leadership qualities and striving for a gender equality. Well, I can understand how it would have been when she had ventured into the sea career. It was never a bed of roses, maybe perhaps a bed of thorns. And whilst going through or going through the industry and undergoing all the process, starting from third mate, second mate, mate and master, and maturing enough into the industry, and then finally in command for last 12 to 13 years, it is certainly commendable. Thereafter, she attained the credibility globally as a woman maritime ambassador, which has encouraged the female gender equality and has been an idol for women seafarers globally. Thereafter, she is also pioneered as a co-founder of International Women Seafarers Federation way back in year 2017. That is where encouraging the women globally and motivating them with her inspirational aspect of joining the merchant navy and basically, helping them her. Many a times she also had been a mentor for, especially as far as the gender equality is concerned. And she has already been awarded a podium by none other than IMO, that is International Maritime Organization. So, Captain Radhika, ma'am, very, very good evening to you. We welcome to you at this podium.
Good evening, sir. I'm actually glad to be speaking to a senior like you, and thank you for having me on your show.
It's a pleasure, Captain Radhika. It is a pleasure. So I would like to ask you, you basically came into this field as a radio officer. So for how long you had worked as a radio officer?
Yes, I came into this field as a radio officer. I have from 91 to 97, I have worked as a radio officer.
Okay, okay. That was pre-GMDSS time, when we had the
Yeah,
Morse
that was
code.
a yeah, it was a Morse code. It was a pre-GMDSS time. Uh, yes, it was a pre-GMDSS time.
So you must be very good at on the Morse code, data did and all that,
Yes,
because
yes,
we do
yes.
still remember, but the way we used to call Sparky, the way Sparky could do, nobody could ever. There was a regulation way back when I joined in 79 that a Welsh vessel can perhaps, hypothetically sail without a master, but cannot sail without a radio officer. That sort of importance was there for a Sparky.
Yes, because that was because of the Morse code days, and nobody could code or encode other than a radio officer.
That, of course, that certainly is definitely that is the reason the importance of uh, a Sparky or a radio
Yes,
officer was definitely could never be undermined. And thereafter, when we came to the GMDSS era, the things started changing, of course. So,
yes,
Captain Radhika, I'd like to ask you a few questions with your permission.
yes.
What was your main motivation before you ventured into the sea career? Because was it that there was somebody in your family who was already sailing as a master or as a deck or as an engineer, or you were all alone by yourself, like something like a black sheep of the family who actually entrepreneured, endeavored, and with an endurance?
It is not like that. I come from a family of engineers. My father was a mechanical engineer, and my
Okay.
mother a civil engineer. My brothers were interested in engineering. My sister was more inclined to art subjects, and I was a different one because I always thought differently, and I was lucky to be born in a family where girls were given equal importance as boys. So my parents always gave me a chance to keep my thoughts in front of them or to with them. I had a choice always. I was free to approach my parents with my doubts or with what I want to do and things like that. So maybe the encouragement, not maybe, surely the encouragement and support of parents, which gives a child a lot of confidence to take his or her own decisions and stick by it. I think this helped me a lot. And I'm sure my parents may not have ever thought that I will try to walk a totally different path. And it was very difficult for my parents to let me go out at sea. At those times, in the 90s, the ladies did not have much choice, either of profession or they didn't have an independent opinion during those times. There were very few women who had their opinions, and they were allowed to pursue the career they chose. And mine was a totally different one. So
Ma'am, can you do something? I
I
think your
came
video
across
is frozen. I think your video is frozen. Can you please check your signal, please, ma'am? Hello.
signals. Are you able to? How's
I
it
can hear you.
now?
I can hear you, but
Yeah.
I can't see your video picture, ma'am.
It,
Hello, Captain
I
Radhika.
think the
Yes, ma'am.
vessel has, I think the vessel has turned probably. Are you able to see me now?
I can see your picture is
Are you able?
frozen, Captain Radhika. Your picture is frozen, but I can hear you.
uh, Okay, let me. Somebody started recording. One second.
Yes, please.
How's it now?
One sec, ma'am. Let me have your video, please. Captain Radhika, your video is not there, ma'am.
I tried to uh, log in on
Okay.
the ship Wi-Fi and see if it helps.
Now your video is coming. It's a bit slow, but it is all right. I think so.
Is it okay?
Yes, so it certainly had been a very brave decision for you. It's like for a woman when you entered into this era way back in 90s or early 90s. Was it something like you for going into an exile, like going into a entirely different domain?
No, I wouldn't call it as exile, because all that mattered to me was I should be allowed to do what I wanted to do, whether it is different or whether it is a path nobody has walked or not, is was not my thought at all at that time. I came across this radio officer's profession. Uh, just a matter of chance, my younger brother had bought a paper cutting home, was saying that join merchant navy, sail across the world, there's that and all that. So I was thinking, and I was never interested in a 9 to 5 job and doing the regular graduate. I was actually waiting for regular academic years to start in the college. There was a waiting period of 6 months or so. So then I actually went up to my dad and convinced him to let me go to do the course only. And I will, with an assurance that I'll come back and do my graduation as soon as the college opens. That's how I started it. So, and when whatever I do it with little sincerity. So, the college principal persuaded my dad to allow me to do the other two parts, like part 2 and 3. So then I got a chance to do it. When I cleared that part 2 and 3, then I realized from my surroundings that the media and all that I was the first one to clear that. And that then there is that feeling, no, I have done so much, then why don't you let me go? So I got into that mode and got after my parents, like, see, I did so much, so let me go and explore as to whether I can really do it or not. Give me a chance. That I came into that mode and started persuading them. And then it was a time the government of India wanted to use females into the Navy also. So I was a template. And then I'm really grateful to Shipping Corporation of India, who gave me the first job. That was an era when nobody were taking women on the technical side, uh, especially in shipping, and there were no engine cadets or deck cadets. So when I got my results, when I was in the negotiating mode with my parents and all that, secretly I applied to SCI for a trainee radio officer's slot, and I got it. I got an invitation. Dad came with me to Mumbai office. He said he will assess the uh, scenario, and then if he feels it's okay, he'll let me go. And if he feels it's not okay, I should drop it then and there. So that was a fair chance. So we went to office. In fact, SCI had taken good care of me. He took me on a passenger ship flying between Kochi and Lakshadweep. Kochi was close to my house and all that. And this ship used to call home port for 2 days. So when the ship comes to show the radio officers earth the station, then the station is locked. I had no work to do. I could go home and all that. So they put me first on that ship. So it was like dad thought it's fine like that, but he had taken a promise from me. Said the moment I feel that's enough, I should drop it. And it took some time to convince my parents, because it's not only the profession that a parent sees about the child. They are also more concerned about the future of the child in terms of family, the child's own and kid's own family, and how the society accepts the person who has taken a different path altogether. And this was a profession demanding a person to be on a ship which is a socially isolated atmosphere. Work can be on the ship and travel with the ship wherever it goes. So because of all this,
No,
dad
it
had taken
certainly is
some
a
time
very
to really.
commendable and very brave decision by you, Captain Radhika, because when you ventured into the sea career, there were not many, females or women around the world who had been so bold or brave enough. But you have set an example. You have set an example for the industry that yes, it's not man's domain. It has to be treated with a gender equality. Now, from that point of view, from that perspective, I certainly would like to ask you what all challenges you faced when you entered into this era or of joining those, coming into the sea career. Would you like to share with us, Captain Menon?
I'll tell you in brief. That is, see, choosing a profession which had been preoccupied by the opposite gender. Mm, and studying for it and all was very easy. Job part of it, like yes, I have cleared my certificate of proficiency and came on board as a radio officer. So that also was easy to adjust with. There were a lot of things which I didn't expect. Actually, I did not expect to be given a red carpet welcome. What I was expecting was like if they should include me in that team, and I should be able to work. I should be a strong link of the chain. That was what my views were. But when you come, what I realized the hard way was when you come into and try to change something, or when you walk a different path, it's not very easy. You are the center of
It's
attraction
basically
for a
it's
lot of
basically
gossip.
tough turf. What you walked a tight rope. It was certainly a tough
Yeah,
turf. What you have basically walked all the way the tight rope throughout your career.
yes, yes.
So
It's like
so
swimming
what was the
against the
steam?
tide.
What was the steam? What actually kept you going, ma'am? I mean, so throughout with against all thicks and thins. What kept you going all the way with all guns blazing?
This what kept me going. That's just the focus on your goal when your goal is very clear. Like I settled in, I changed the mindsets of the people. People started thinking radio officers is a girl's job, and then there were this maritime colleges were brimming with girl candidates, and then the ports which I have touched across India, they were employing females in the radio stations, VHF stations, and all. Those were good motivators for me. Like yes, some changes can happen.
For the VTS,
But when
basically, you're
I
talking about the
came into the
VTS. Yeah,
and when
yeah.
I came into this profession, what I like about this profession is it gives me my time. Like after my work, I don't have to drive in a traffic in the hustle bustle of the city and all that. I am a person who spends my own time. Like I have engagements like my prayers, yoga, and listening to music, things like that. So when I started off as radio officer during my leisure time, I used to help out the deck officers with a lot of small calculations and learn few things from them and all that. So, and then there was this late Captain Subramaniam's Nutshell series on Root. So I
Yes, yes,
got a
yes,
chance
ma'am.
to flip through them and all that.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to be in continuing in seafaring, and I wanted to change over. At that time, I realized there was a DG circular for radio officers to convert to the deck,
Deck
and
officers.
then yes, but it took me some time to get permission from. And that time I got married, 92 or
Hmm.
so. Then it was not
Hmm.
only the permission from my parents that mattered. It was my husband, in-laws, everybody has to assess the this
Correct.
one and let me go. So that took some time. So when I opted for conversion, it was 97, 98. And then there
Okay.
again, I had to face a lot of difficulties like I faced initially, like why is she into this field sort of thing. Like, and each time I came with a new certificate, I had some issues based on the mindset and bias and whatnot. Like, but by then I had learned. a lot of things, how to tackle situation, how to tackle what sort of problems and all. And throughout my career, I have met men out at sea and in the office also who were very supportive of a change. So these people helped me a lot to
No, that definitely goes. Again, I said when I introduce
get
you, is
on
a
board
feather in your
with that.
cap. It's a feather in your cap, definitely. I really, sometimes feel astonished that how you have persevered through all thicks and thins, and then still now you're in a commanding situation. How do you find some challenges with respect to coping up with your professional job as a master mariner or as a master of the vessel, and with your domestic thing? Are there any constraints you have found so far?
No, like I have so far not found. I've been able to manage both very well, and professionally and personally, uh, I have been balancing from my early days of sea career. So I'm more
Right.
stable.
No, no, definitely I can understand. Now, coming to the gender equality, ma'am, I mean to say you are the master of the vessel. You have under your command women officers as well as men officers. You find some challenging situation where you may come across, there might be some people who may be having a different perspective that, oh, I'm getting commanded by a woman. Because, we seafarers are basically frog in a well. Because the seafarer community, when they stay on board, their mind becomes sometimes stagnated. They cannot see, rise to the occasion, or appreciate the scenario. Like in your case, you're commanding and doing such a fantastic job, but there might be some obstacles. How do you cope up with that, Captain Radhika?
Sir, what I feel about these obstructions created by biased mind, the origin is from where they actually belong to, like from which surrounding they come from, how they have been brought up, uh, what
The
surrounding they
culture,
grew up.
culture, basically, you're talking about.
Yes, a person is aggressive or submissive based on that. So
Yes.
there are situations when such people land on board. They might create, they will of course create issues and things like that. But nowadays we have lot of policies, guidelines and regulations and all that. For those who don't understand by words, it's the rules that say show them a big no. So I've been able to control this to a greater extent. And seafarers actually they have been seeing me for so many years now. So most of the times I do not have any issue. And regarding this gender equality, I've been advocating throughout my sea career. So I'm able to handle it well when I sail with female and both the genders together on the ship.
No, that's great. So, what will be the mantra you will be putting forward to the mariners fraternity globally for encouraging the Nari Shakti or the woman power to step forward and join? Like today, we have Air Force pilots also who are flying fighter jets. That is not only in India but many places in the world. So the equality has already been granted, but still, I think many a times the gender for the gender equality, many of the women who certainly may have a quest to join the merchant navy, but they are maybe a bit apprehensive. Have you come across, because you have done the mentoring for many women seafarers globally? How did you manage to cope up with that?
See, I have co-founded International Women Seafarers Foundation with two other pioneer women. The first lady chief engineer of our country, Suniti Bala,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Sarvani Mishra. So here we have mentored a lot of women globally into this field, and at the moment we have India has got policies and guidelines for conducive work atmosphere for women on board, which we have worked out with DG Shipping and launched in 2019. And now there is a continuous improvement of things, and now there is a brighter chance for girls. Earlier, like when I used to try to get employment for female officers, the companies were very reluctant. Now there's a huge drive for female officers. So if
No, you
anyone
have
is
laid the
willing to
path.
join,
You have laid the path. You
yes.
have endured with your, with your whole perseverance, and you've laid the path for generations to come and remember you as Captain Radhika, the legend, the pioneer who actually encouraged the women seafarers all around the world. And that is the reason I believe, because of this, you have received a Medal of Honor, being felicitated by none other than the highest authority of our country, that is by the President of India, ma'am.
I don't know whether I have laid the path, but what I did was I pursued my dreams, and I was focused on my goal. And what I would advise the others is that you are free to choose any career that you want to pursue. There are no careers which has a label of the gender on it. All careers are gender neutral, but in whatever you do it sincerely, and you will of course succeed in your ventures, provided you do not take anything personally, and nothing should distract you from your goal. Once you succeed, you will open the gates for others. Uh,
Great.
That
I couldn't agree more than this. Definitely, I fully concur with your this statement, Dr. Captain Radhika. That occurs to ask me one question to you, Captain Radhika. Would you like to share one of your best experience whilst during your command time and your worst? How would you differentiate with them? I mean to say, when you are in the utmost challenging situation, be it professionally or taking into consideration the human element. When I say human element, there had been a lot of fiascos during COVID times.
during COVID times, yes, I was also on the ship for an extended contract. So we used to like we I used to tell my people entirely like they also knew which port. Most of the ports are closed for crew change. So I did not face much of an issue on board. We were because of the constant discussions with them, like being very transparent. See, I've asked for your reliever, but this port is not open for it. You will get it in the next port.
So
And
how are
we
you
all met.
coping up with this challenging situation when, let's say, there's a crew member of yours who has already, his contract is already over, and probably he's a bit mentally disturbed. So how did you manage to, cope up with that sort of situation as far as the human element and those challenges are concerned, Captain Radhik?
Actually, in a normal scenario, also like I maintain a good rapport with my juniors, and I encourage them to also be very empathetic with their juniors. So we are able to like when we work in a team, exchange our fears and exchange our troubles and all that. And then when we are totally transparent and we are telling them this is not happening because of this, and we are able to smother the situation to a greater extent. And there were scenarios when our team members have helped a particular crew to get some finance across to the a person who wanted to what wanted someone to visit his home and uh, convey something, all those things. So we've been able to hold on like that. So I have not had any grave situation as such on board during those times.
Great. Anything from the professional point of view, uh, maybe the ship handling or professional point of view, would you like to share it for our audience? Basically, what I want to, put forward through you is that how did you manage to persevere through all the difficult situations, Because this certainly will be an encouragement for the especially the women or the ladies or the females who are following you up.
I didn't understand your question actually.
What I mean to say, Captain Radhika, anything in particular from the professional perspective, would you like to share, like, if you had been in a kind of a very difficult situation from the ship's perspective, be it any ship handling maneuver or anything, or dealing with the, your, as far as your commercial obligations are concerned, safety, commercial obligations, and or anything regarding the environmental protection policies? Anything you may recall.
No, what I would say is anybody who does choose any profession, uh, try to, especially in seafaring, whatever you learn is what you actually do, practice. So I would like to share my rescue operation with you. Like I used
Right.
to, when I was doing my second mates and all that, I used to be the only lady of the college and the class. So, and meteorology used to be a very boring subject for everybody. So everyone used to
Okay.
vanish except me, except me. So
Okay.
because if I vanish, then I'll
Okay.
be caught easily. So I used to sit there only. Like so, when that instructor, I forgot his name. He was I think Captain Bakshi. I don't remember his name. He used to come, he used to tell me a few things. Like he told me how to rhythm the waves, no? Count the waves, where to find the dead water, and all that. He used to repeatedly say. So the this rescue operation that I carried out was in a storm. So I was going
Storm.
against the storm. And these
And
fellows were coming
what
into
you
the
were
storm.
sailing as what? As a master or as as
I was
a,
a master.
son of?
I was a
You were sailing as
master
a
of the
master.
way. Yes.
Okay, very good.
And the
Okay.
waves were around 7 to 9 meters, 60, 70 knots wind speed. So the entire and this uh, deep depression which has been traveling towards Bangladesh, and I was coming down to Vizag. So the night was being very bad, and the morning I was thinking what to do, like no weather report which supports it to tell the charterers or take an action. But then I thought I will alter towards Paradeep. So as soon as I altered, then I got a call from office saying like wonderful action. You have left it on your port quarter. So I was feeling good. Somebody is watching me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you were there during the storm avoiding action you took, saving so
Yeah,
many
that was.
souls on board, which certainly is commendable. Definitely.
And then
Uh,
after I turned, I told my second mate,
mhm.
you have to be now very watchful. Maybe from the coast, a lot of boats have drifted out and it will be carried. So you have to keep a good watch. I went down to cabin. I got a call immediately. When I came up, I saw among the tall waves, you can see a black boat like thing. About 1.5 miles or 1 mile or something on my starboard bow. So this was like I was thinking now I have to turn her. And in this situation, how will I turn her? Like, but I have to pick them up. Only
What
this
size
work.
of vessel were you on? What size of vessel were you on?
My vessel was about 183 meters in length only. I was also
Mid-sized
a
ship,
toy.
mid-sized product
I was,
carrier.
yeah, product carrier. It was like um, lifting you up and thrashing you like anything. That was a scene. So
Hmm.
the action I could took, I had taken. I was able to. time the ridges and look for the lull and turn her hard over, go around her. First time I missed this went towards the propeller. I stopped and waited. Second time I went around, I picked up. I could pick up all seven of them. So
Was it a
um,
fishing boat or was it a yacht? What was it?
it was a fishing boat. It had six fishermen and one child on it.
I see.
The
I
boy
see.
was around 15-year-old or something, and they've been
Okay.
missing for 7 days.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
uh, they got caught in the bad weather. They lost their engines and food, and they were huddled up inside the hatch where they stored the fish and licking on ice to survive, something like that. So I got them. We got them on board, and then I asked them from when are they missing. Then I found out it's almost 7 days. I allowed them to call home. That is when I realized that they had called just in time to stop their funeral prayers. That their family
Oh, I
was in
see.
tears and all that. We took the pictures of these guys and sent home, and they happily reunited.
Definitely, definitely.
With
They
the
must be
with the
still,
family.
you still must be their idol and definitely,
Not like
blessing
that,
you with
but I need to say,
all the things what
like
you did for them and their families.
no, and not
Now,
only still anybody would have done that because seafarers have
I know,
the.
but the thing is, I know I would have done the same thing. I was also involved in few SARS, but I did whatever I could do. Definitely managed to persevere and did few things. But my question is like this, you being a master, you certainly has given the path or the limelight to so many generations to come and remember you and take you as your idol and follow your path. That's what I'm trying to say, Captain Radhika.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I would just last question, Captain Radhika, I'd like to ask you, what is your opinion with respect to, and I'm asking you this question without prejudice, with respect
Mm.
to the level of competence of our officers in our maritime fraternity is concerned?
Uh, so actually, I cannot. Honestly speaking, I have sailed with officers uh, who are really bad, but it is not all the time. It is sometimes you get few officers who are not much interested or who are not aware of. Sometimes I even wonder if they have their competencies. So, I have sailed with,
That's what I'm saying because I've been also through loads of things, and I
but
also
not
found
all
because
of them are not like that.
yes,
Like
yes, yes, not all.
a
I'm
few
saying
of them I have
to a
been
certain
able to
extent.
change. To
Yes.
it is your luck, like you sail with good officers, the competent ones. There is always a fluctuation, and go to see nobody knows. Like they come with a few CBTs and things like that. Nowadays, I think most of the answers are available everywhere. So that is how they clear it, I think so. So
My
once they
question is
come,
regarding the practical knowledge of the seamanship. Do you think it is lacking somewhere? Because today we have all the claustrophobic kind of electronic aids to navigation. But then when you talk about the basics, you find that somewhere down the line, in case the failure of any electronic gadget, you find your officers, mariners, they are like in a, completely going into doldrums.
a few of them are totally lost. Like because they come from that era of electronics, they have not paid much attention to the basics. And there are people who believe that uh, basics like are not required also. Like
Yeah,
a few
back
of
to
them.
basics. One has to be. So, how do you cope up with that? Do you try to train them, or you give them a chance, or you say, okay, you tell the company, please send me a replacement?
No, no, I try to manage with people I'm given, and I tackle them very in a different way. So at the end of the tenure, they're able to catch up, or I try to generate interest in them, to do this, do that, small things and all that, and put the other junior who's good at all this thing to train him. So actually, what I normally do is once they come on board, I try my best to train them and bring them to a point they're useful to us, like they can be trusted or relied upon, like that. And only
So
very worst
you build a
cases.
teamwork. You build a teamwork.
Yeah.
You basically build a teamwork, show them the vision, you train them, and you bring their standards up gradually, right?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
that certainly is
Because
commendable because many a times we are also busy with our walks of life or our job or with our function responsibilities. Sometimes we do not have that sort of time, especially when the vessels are on short runs. You may find it very
mm,
challenging to train your
yeah.
officers on a regular basis. Of course, one must. This is part of and parcel of our job and the curriculum. So somewhere down the line, do
mm.
you think that our educational curriculum, when we talk about qualification of second mate's license, then to master. Do you think we need to do something about our curriculum as far as the graduation of the officers while when he's appearing for his certificate of competency exams? Does it needs to be changed, in your humble opinion?
I don't think so, sir. I think whatever basics I have been taught, probably the junior who's coming after me also is also taught. I think this earlier people who come into maritime profession, 80% of them come out of passion to sail or the passion for the profession. Now it is like too much of awareness, and people think it's a easy way to earn money. And they come up like that. They see easy ways to do their job and take the money and go. I feel that way. I think curriculum is quite sufficient, and we are also evolving with technology. Uh, so I don't think there is any much change to be done. It is the right candidate who will be who is a great officer, the one who has a passion for his profession. So, and
So
it's
what's your
very
next goal
difficult.
from here, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I'm sorry to interject. Please carry on. Please carry on. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Please go on.
My question is, next question is, so what's your next goal? What next you would like to achieve to be a superintendent or rise up to the DPA or CSO of a company? What is that like?
I have not figured out that yet. I'm into uh, human rights and lot other things. Then when I sit ashore, probably I will take up a job as a superintendent or whichever portfolio suits me like. Uh,
Yes, yes,
right
yes.
now, I have not figured out what. Like,
No, I'm sure, lady with your caliber and with your aptitude, you certainly will be able to figure out, and whatever you do will certainly again will open up another chapter for the for the ladies or the women who are following you up. You certainly will be a leading example for all of them. Of course, I have come across few ladies marine superintendents also, and I've also sailed with many of my colleagues during my sailing career. Of course, certainly I know how difficult it is sometimes when especially you don't get a support from your superiors and cooperation from your juniors.
oh, yes.
Okay, Captain Radhika Menon, anything you'd like to say to our audience before we wrap up this rendezvous session, ma'am?
Mm, what I would like to say is, as a human being, we face difficulties of various nature. You don't take it very personally. You see it as a problem. You find solutions for the problem, and with each with each hurdle you cross, you will realize your problem solving ability have taken a quantum leap. So all the best to all of you, and thank you.
You have narrated the whole thing in such a simple manner that I couldn't imagine to perceive it any more simple with any more simplicity, if I say so.
Thank you,
We
sir.
thank you a lot, Captain Radhika Menon. You took so much time in between. The signal also was not very good, because I understand that you're right now sitting in your master's cabin and you're interacting with us. I'm so God graciously thankful to you to be with us, ma'am, and bon voyage. And I salute you for all your endeavors and endurances.
Thank
God
you,
bless.
sir.
Stay safe. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye, ma'am. Thank you.